So we saw that diversity comes with its benefits. In fact, companies with two-dimensional diversity are 45% more likely to report that they had captured a larger portion of the market and 70% more likely to have entered into a new market in the past year. And obviously, this is something which can feel very intuitive because when you have representatives of larger and more varied sections of the society in your workplace, you will be able to build services and products that allow you to capture these different markets more efficiently than your competitors. But creating a diverse workplace is not without its challenges. And let's spend some time looking at what these challenges are. The first one I would say is communication barriers. This is something which is a very human part of us. We feel more comfortable talking to people who are like us. We feel that we can relate to them better, we understand their views better, we understand their thoughts better. Always, there will be a challenge, a little bit of an obstacle in our mind to talk to somebody who is different from us. It is very, very important to create a culture in your organization that allows people to introspect and accept this as a human failing. Only when we do so can we overcome it and see each person for whom they are as an individual rather than a sum product of just their differences. The second one can be generational differences. While as individuals, all of us come, of course, with our own varied background, there are always some differences which get carried over because of the kind of upbringing we've had or the kind of experiences we've had in our life. So while some things are considered absolutely unacceptable today, there were policies which honestly sound extremely shocking right now, which were commonplace just a few decades ago. I'm sure all of you have I feel that we have a very young audience, over here, and I doubt that you can remember a time when women were not allowed to vote, or you could remember a time when people could be owned, and or people where they were just sidelined because of certain physical disabilities. This may sound shocking, but the fact is that it is true, and we have unfortunately come from a past where all of these things were considered normal and acceptable. So it's important to recognize that you may have people from generations who have come through a time where this was not something which was something that you would raise an eyebrow on, which would be considered absolutely inappropriate in the workplace. So building policies and programs that help break down these generational differences can make a huge impact on the success of your workplace diversity. It's also important to appreciate and create safe spaces for possible isolation in individuals who are feeling that they are not part of the larger groups. So be careful about having programs that exclude people. Be careful about unintended consequences of jokes being cracked or just casual things that we say which may make a person feel hurt or excluded from that conversation. I can share an example over here where we've had issues in organizations where a manager would tend to go out with his or her team for maybe drinks on a Friday evening. And while the manager never intended to exclude anybody from the team, over time they realized that there were certain people from the team who would never join in these outings. And that was just because they came from a lifestyle where they had young children at home that they needed to go back to. So creating this sensitization amongst the team managers and the team members that they're able to recognize this possible isolation goes a long way in building that a sense of belonging and inclusion for each person within the workplace. Ultimately, you also obviously have the larger organizational goals, And there is always a bit of a journey in implementing a new policy. So it's important for you to align to organizational goals and make sure that your stakeholders are absolutely in favor of the design that you are creating for this new workplace to allow you to have the best implementation. So it's really important for you to get management buy-in, and that can be done best by making a strong case for diversity, which is based on data and facts, and which is able to showcase why there is a current gap in the organization and specific action points that can be done in order to bridge that gap. And once you have all of these challenges taken care of, you will be able to overcome the natural human bias and internal resistance that can occur in any organization when setting up these diversity policies.